Okay, so this is Whirlwind. It is the first time we've cast this map on any IPL broadcast. It is in the map pool now for Fight Club, for IPTL, and basically anything moving on from this point. It's kind of like a season of maps, but we know we don't have really super clearly defined seasons, so it could change really at any time. If we end up hating Whirlwind, it's out of here. But this map, just looking at the mini-map, has about 50 bases on it, so could encourage people to do some macro, perhaps.
Yes.
But right now, ZeeZ.JJH, he is the red Terran up here in the top left corner. Way down in the bottom left, we have Isurus.Darkness, who took the last 2 games, actually, for Isurus. So we'll see how his PVT is once again.
So we'll go ahead and take you guys through this map. As you guys can see the main, there's a little offshoot off to the side. It's a very large main. There's actually a ton of real estate there and a couple of points that you have to watch out about. It's almost completely islands, though. I mean, there's a ramp, obviously, that runs over to the natural, but it's all pretty much unbroken space. It's not like it's ramps where you can blink up or anything like that. You may be able to blink across that gap, but you know, not a lot of Reaper worry or anything along those lines. Natural does have a triple wide ramp, so it's a little bit wider than, say, Cadaria. There's actually a supply depot that actually blocks, though, to the side and makes it a double wide, which is kind of cool. So you can actually forge fast expand this, but it's a neutral supply depot that could get broken down and exploited as the game goes along. When you make your way over to your third, there's only 2 paths that actually make their way into it. So with decent creep spread or building position, you can actually hold on to those pretty easily. And then in the middle of the map, as you guys can kind of see where the whirlwind comes from, all these paths are I don't know, circular in nature. It's rotationally symmetrical, and there are 16 bases. Just one Xel'Naga tower watches the middle, but there's an enormous amount of open space there for flanking with Zerg armies and things like that.
Yeah, this map actually reminds me of an old Warcraft 3 map that was basically similar style as a free-for-all map. It might have been named Whirlwind, but I don't think so. But basically, it's kind of nostalgic looking. It looks like the mini-map looks like kind of a Brood War map where just everything's shoved out to the outsides, and then the center. Center is going to be interesting. I'm curious what kind of fights we're going to be seeing in the center, because that is the very important Xel'Naga tower. But really, if it's providing vision of an area that's not getting much traffic anyway, it's almost like it's there just to be there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much contention there is over that. Also, cross positions, I think it's going to be obviously a lot more valuable. But in the situation like this, where they're both on the left side, it's like, are they going to need it? Are they going to fight over it? Who knows?
And you can see how large the map is. Even if you take the Xel'Naga tower, it's not going to go very much beyond this range, give or take. So basically the area that you see blacked out on the mini-map, that's about all it's going to reveal. So there's a ton of attack paths, very Brood War-esque, that can actually go past the vision of a Xel'Naga tower.
I'm curious, Darkness has a probe dancing around near the third, just on patrol, but I'm curious what he's going to end up doing with that. Maybe he wants to save it there and build a pylon soon and do some weapons. We haven't really seen any aggressive play out of these teams yet. It's been a lot of sitting back, macroing up, trying to get that nice composition. Lots of harassment in the mid game, but no just full on like I'm going to attack you and kill you attacks from either team yet.
And obviously, I mean, it's very possible that Isurus and Ripsies have played together all the time and they're super familiar with each other's strategies, but it's not like it's a situation where we have, let's say, Slayers versus IM, and they've matched each other 20 times and they know each other and they're preparing snipers and things like that. So you can kind of expect to see just safe, solid macro play a lot of times.
Yeah, and you kind of don't, you might not have an idea of, is this guy my level? Am I, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Basically, you have no idea the skill level of your opponent. So if you are a better player, you're going to win with that solid build most of the time. So, yeah, it does make sense, but I just want to see some fighting.
I know.
Yeah.
Them's fighting words.
Jimmy
didn't give us any fighting.
Give us some fighting.
Boy. Well, we do have Stimpak being researched now. It's 2 racks opening for JJH after his initial expand. The factory is being produced, and actually towards his opponent. As we can see, you have that offshoot and in a rotationally symmetrical position that I wouldn't say that causes an imbalance, but if you think about trying to put, let's say, a starport here for Banshees, it's really not a long fly distance to actually make their way over to the natural. It reminds me of some of the complaints on, say, Crevasse or something along those lines.
Yep, and apparently I just got yelled at because Isurus is spelled wrong on my tweet.
Aww.
I'm sorry, Isurus. I thought it was URAS, but it's actually URUS. My bad. I'm sorry.
Don't you feel bad now?
Well, look at their tag. They don't even spell it out because Darkness is too long.
Yeah, that's true. So,
what am I supposed to do?
big pointy teeth.
All right. Well, Isurus is in a good position, actually, already up 4-2. So maybe if we have to talk about them again, I can do like an apology and just like capitalize it every time and stuff like that. So
you should just stare into the camera. Isurus.
Isurus. Double Forge for Darkness coming up.
Yeah, once again, playing the same sort of style that we saw him go with last go-round. He is playing another Terran player, of course, and the only difference was that he actually went with a 4th gate at the beginning. This is the little more traditional Creator Prime style, 3-gate, double forge, 6-gate, expand, sit back, get 3/3 upgrades, and then just barrel over your opponent. So it's fallen out of favor a little bit as Protoss players have been throwing in a little bit quicker play and a little bit more aggressive play from time to time, but still really, really effective style.
JJH can combat that a little bit with some nice drops. It depends how many bases Darkness goes to. If he tries to extend to that 3rd anytime soon, drops are going to be a lot more effective. Basically, Stalkers are just a nice interim unit to defend against drops for Protoss, so it can be tough to try and find those weak points in a Protoss natural just because, you know, Stalkers are just really, really good for stopping that. Twilight Council coming up for Darkness now. He's got 1-1 about halfway done, so he'll be able to start 2-2 immediately. After that, and Floating Factory, gonna be able to scout everything. I'm sure he'll get past those sentries and stalkers over to the main.
No, sentries, too high DPS.
That's
no
right.
way.
They're tickle lasers. They hurt metal though.
That is a serious side effect of tickle lasers.
Yeah.
That seems like a tickle laser made out of radiation or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you would think tickle laser would just feel good.
Yeah.
And not hurt metal.
Tickle laser seems one of those toys from the 50s though that gets banned by
just like Bag of Glass. It's a tickle laser.
Tickle laser, tickle laser. I tried to make a 50s jingle there. And,
it reminds me of Log. It rolls downstairs, etc.
It's heavy. It's wood.
Yeah.
Observer, though, is in perfect position to pick up on this, but there are no
dun.
units in position. They're trying to shift over right now, but it looks like the drop is going to get down in time.
And there are the Stalkers that I mentioned. They're very quick to react. Even though the units did get dropped, they're really not going to be able to get in and do any serious damage before being forced away. So that's just a nice benefit on this map. The natural and main are close enough that it's going to be hard to get in to do those drops. So JJH, we'll see if he can persist with these drops or if he's going to try and back off. The Observer does see those medevacs again, so he's probably just going to have to resign for now and go back and regroup.
3rd base coming up for Darkness, though. I like this. I certainly think he needs to do this, but it's going to get picked up on immediately. Because the command center is already done for JJH, this is going to put Darkness in kind of a bad position. In fact, he may just lose this Nexus and cancels it at just the last second.
Unfortunate. Oh, he might be able to pick off the lower health medevac, but no, he's not going to target it down. But that is a good job by JJH floating into the fully healthy? Yeah, sure, why not? The strong medevac. He's in the strong medevac. But Darkness has good map coverage right now. He's got vision kind of all the places he needs it. I'm not sure about this little guy.
Just a probe.
Don't worry about that little guy.
Just likes his little flame.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Keep him warm. But JJH has decent upgrades. It's always weird when you look at a Terran player, though, that is trying to play catch-up in terms of upgrades. Their opponent put up, you know, double forge right away. Oh, nice stim, and doesn't quite pick off the Observer. Does he have another scan available? Okay, he will in a second. Orbital Command finishes up. Takes 2 scans, but he does pick off the Observer. But just playing catch-up with upgrades is so difficult as a Terran player. You have to be able to be annoying, and it looks like he's going to try and do that with a double drop.
Yeah, these probes are super undefended right now. He uses the warp-in. He uses the very valuable warp-in at that base that didn't even have any probes at it yet. So I do notice how saturated this base is. He's getting tons of probes pretty easily and a couple of pylons here before the Zealots and Mortals can actually squeeze their way in to try and defend against that. So he got some nice probe kills there and still going on here at the 3rd base.
Yeah, nice job. Picks back up. So old Limity Tang showing off his skills for us. So We'll see now what he decides to do, though. He's on his third base. He's going up in tech and infrastructure at the same time, investing in a second starport, 3 barracks, Ghost Academy. All of that at once is pretty difficult to support, so he cut units there for a little while, as you can see. But, whoa! Medevac still goes down.
Yep, Stalkers, good units for stopping those drops, especially when they have Blink. Can we pull up Workers Killed? It seems like he got quite a few, 13, so less than I expected, but still a very solid amount, and the worker count is still favoring Darkness, it looked like there, so that's not going to matter if these drops continue for much longer and he can get a force built up back at home, because eventually he's going to pull him in so many directions.
He just cut off his own Zealot. Okay, no, it can still get around the back. I thought he did there for a second, but does not. Does about 5 points of damage to the assimilator and needs to back off. Losing everything there, unfortunately.
Not sure about that decision, because the medevac was so low, there was a huge chance that he was just going to lose everything before being able to drop, but he could have saved those for his big force that he's got outside of his third right now. He's forming up a little bit here. Factory still doing some spotting, Marines running around looking for extra expansions, perhaps even proxy pylons, stuff like that. There's the transmitter.
Yes.
You know, the transmitter, so...
Of course.
Yeah, so transmission is happening. I don't know what that thing is.
I have no idea either, but hopefully it sends people back in time. But
that's probably it.
That's all I can assume it would do. So,
Dr. Faraday hooked that up for Whirlwind.
All right, stemmed in Marines, and once again, these workers are pretty exposed. A few going down, 4 or 5 of them dying right away. Up to 19 workers killed, so actually caught 6 more there. Well worth the investment of Marines.
All right, now that these Colossi are starting to come out, I was going to say, let's take a look at the composition he has here. 6 Vikings in the air, lots of medevacs, so actually we'll be able to keep them alive through a couple additional Colossus sweeps if his coverage is good enough. And the Vikings, again, going to be very pivotal, just like they were in the Jimmy versus Darkness match earlier on. Jimmy was not so lucky with his positioning, so maybe this time things will go JJH's way. He's got that Ghost Academy already, cranking out 4 Ghosts at a time and 4 Vikings at a time. So definitely the right units for this situation. We'll see if it's gonna work out for him. Is that +2/+2 or
No, +3/+3.
Okay,
Blue is
slightly bluer. They're a darker blue.
But this is that moment, though. 17-minute mark of Protoss basically maxes out 3/3 upgrades. This is the Creator Prime style to a hilt, although Creator Prime's usually very good about taking absolutely no damage from drops whatsoever. Another Observer picked off there, so JJH showing Deja levels of picking off invisible units. No, don't go through there.
No, not the transmitter.
And they're all right.
Oh, all right. Oh, I guess so. It's not like a bomb.
Yeah.
Or like
that's good.
AoE damage like those Marines.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Clearly.
That's a good thing for these medevacs. All right, so units just being dropped all over the place. Are they going to pick off the Zealots first or try to kill off this robotics facility? Nice. Anytime you can destroy production facilities inside the enemy base is super good. He's going to pick off these probes. Oh, because Darkness is on the move with his entire force. I did see an EMP splash already on the sentries. That was so good.
Yeah, that was actually really clutch because those ghosts were just about to die. So there's a scan. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to pick off the Observer. And mix, but he comes up from behind and picks off 2 of the Colossi, 3 of the Colossi. All 3 of the Colossi go down at once, and now Darkness is trapped.
That positioning, that is exactly what we were looking for the last PvT that Darkness played in, but the Viking has got such a long time of free shots on those Colossi because all the Chargelets and Stalkers and Archons ran in front, and now JJH actually has a very sizable force still standing, and that's a credit to the number of medevacs that he turned out throughout the entire game.
Yeah, that is, I mean, these Marauders are still doing
there.
damage. Oh, they pick off a Nexus. This game is pretty well in hand now for JJH. He is looking great. He's got a huge advantage. He can drop right back down here and take out this photon cannon. Indeed, he will. Doesn't even lose a Marauder there. Picks off a couple more workers. That's
quite a warp-in streak. He got something like 12 Stalkers all just popping in at once, and all these Chargelets returning home from wherever the heck they were. Did they? I don't think anything survived from that fight earlier, but looks like Ooh, workers killed. JJH killed a lot of workers throughout this game. Darkness killed a few there at that last attack, but right now JJH is going to ride his momentum. He's got landed Vikings. He's got Vikings in the air, splashing EMPs all over the place. That's going to make those charge lots just so much easier to take out with that high DPS. The Ghosts are just having a heyday, tucked in the middle there, and no real danger with any Colossi, no Colossi out on the field to tear through this.
Yeah, Ghosts are just so good against light units. There's a GG well played, and Ripsy